Okay, welcome Danny Soleil to the Humility Quest. I'm excited to have you on the call. For those of you who don't know, Danny and I actually went to high school together, so it was pretty awesome. I probably haven't seen each other in like well over 20 years, but we got acquainted again just recently, which has been awesome. Danny is now lives in LA. And he's been an actor, right? He's the only person that I know from my high school in Buffalo that's ever gone out to be an actor. It is just awesome to get a hold of you. So Danny, tell us a little bit about what your life is like being an actor.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, Kev, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure knowing you all, and it's great to see you again and see what you're doing. When we were able to reconnect, I felt like it was just it was weird. I was telling my wife how happy I was to see you again and to just talk with you and meet with you in a city where I've been for a long time and haven't had a lot of people from my hometown. So let me start off by saying that. So definitely an amazing feeling. As far as being an actor, I've been an actor for about 20 years. I started later by an actor sense. It's just something that I found later in life, because I lived a lot of experiences, and when I started putting them all together, I kind of measured it and looked at it like, what I really love is I love people, and I really enjoy people, and I love storytelling, and I love just like different adventures and things like that. And so it all kind of came together later in my life that probably the best profession for me is to be an actor. So I got into it. I absolutely love it. Whether or not you're super successful or you're still doing it, you can still always be an actor. And that's a thing that is always misinterpreted. A lot of people will say, well, what's he in? And if he's not recognizable by Warner Brothers or Paramount standards, he's not an actor. Well, that's just not true, because my day, every single day, consists of me acting at some level, whether it's I'm in a current play, or I'm working on a scene, or I'm auditioning, or you're going off and working on some type of craft. You're an actor if you're doing it,
Yeah. So you kind of mentioned a couple of things there, like you love being with people, you love like the adventure and stuff like that. So talk to me about like how those kinds of things are getting fulfilled in acting.
It's just when you get a script, or you get a part, or you even get just the opportunity, it's this weird thing of like, you get to leave Danny at the door. I think that I'm able to do that, humbly saying that I'm not in love with myself. I don't think I'm very egotistical, but the opportunity to be something else, or try something else, live through something else, is so much fun. As an actor, you're able to do that. You're able to be a different character, or you're able to live at a certain time in life that you just can't. I can't go back in time 300 years, but as an actor, I can. And I just find that so exciting. The adventurous part of that is always really intriguing to me. Going to the moon, or going underwater, or real life situations that we live in that aren't affected to me, or that I have been affected before. There's certain things in life that, God willing, have never happened to me, but to live that as an actor is just a really, really unique experience, good, bad, or indifferent. And as an actor, you're able to do that.
You have to live through it in order, while you're acting it, to really pull it off. You got to really live through it. So that's really cool. What about just being like with people? There's a real sense of teamwork in order to put like a film together. So you've got like the other actors, the other professionals that you're dealing with, and then you've got all the people that are like behind and around the camera. There's a lot of teamwork going on there, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's such a unique experience in that sense, because, well, me and you played on the same high school football team together, so we know what that's like. We know what it's like to work as a team, or, you were in the military, you know what it's like to work as a team. Sometimes at regular jobs and stuff like that, you're not fulfilled that way. But as an actor, oh man, it all has to come together, whether it's all the actors that are casted to make that world believable. But there is so much more behind the scenes, whether it's the showrunner, the producer, the director, color coordinator. There's a guy called a Foley artist who makes the sounds of the movie. You know, he'll be in his little studio or her studio, and she'll be crunching leaves or taking shoes on wooden blocks. Like, all that stuff has to come together to really make a film or a TV show or even a theater production, and it's an absolute team effort. It's just that the actors oftentimes get the front glory, but it's really just an overall team effort. It's kind of like the quarterback, you know, and the offensive linemen and things like that. But yeah, that's the great part about it, man. You know, when you're on set, I can't explain how fun it is, man. It's just really so much fun being on a movie set or a television set. People are great.
And I could see how excited you still get about being on stage and being able to act. And the one thing that really got me was, you know, the idea that when you weren't out acting in a movie or something like that, you're still on stage doing plays. You're still in the craft of acting. I could see how much you love it, which is awesome. What happened after high school? Right? Like I said, I don't know anybody else from Buffalo that's being an actor anywhere, you know, at least from our high school. Tell me a little bit about how you went from you and I playing football together in high school to now being an actor. What happened first? Where were you working, and then where'd you go from there?
Yeah, okay. So I think obviously going back to high school, we can start there. We're two very passionate people, no matter what we're doing, whether it's playing sports, acting, or making cookies or whatever. I'm just really that type, you know? And so I didn't know in high school that you actually can take plays, and like, I didn't know the route of an actor. I had no clue. For me, it was just baseball. When baseball ended, it was football, and then it was track. You know, I was just an athlete. I didn't know that to be an actor, you actually go to like theater classes in high school and stuff like that. My aunt would be like, just go to the mall. They'll discover you in Hollywood, you know? And I lived in Buffalo. I didn't know that. So, you know, in high school, it's kind of a weird thing where you have your theater and then you have your jocks and whatever, and they don't really mix well. And boy, was I wrong, because it took a while for me to mature. So after high school, I ended up going to North Carolina Wesleyan, where I played baseball. And it was a Division III school, and we won the College World Series. And I was all excited about that. Probably could have played some baseball afterwards, maybe single A or, you know, something like that. But I chose the Peace Corps, and I wanted to travel and see the world. And as a kid from Kenmore, New York, I didn't know how to do any of that, man. Like you did, you joined the Army or whatever. And so I signed up for the Peace Corps, and I went to Africa as a well digger. It was called the Water and Sanitation. You basically are in the jungle parts of Africa, and I was stationed in Zambia, and you dig wells for different tribes so they can drink water. Well, I was having headaches, went and saw the doctors in South Africa, and they medically separated me. So during that time, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. When I go back to the United States, I probably have every opportunity in the world to do whatever I want. And I've always loved movies. And I said, well, I'm going to go back. I'm going to drive my car to Hollywood, and I'm going to try to be an actor. I have no idea how to do it. This is what I want to try. And so that's what I did. I came home, saved up a little bit of money to get across the country. I remember being on the 70 highway, and we couldn't go over the mountains in Denver because my car was going to explode. And so me and Brian Castle, we had to drive down the southern route through Arizona, but I made it to Hollywood. Then I was like, okay, I'm here. Now what do I do? And so to find out even how to do movies, I was like, let me sign up to be an extra and just a background guy. And, you know, once I'm on the set, I'll figure it out, you know, and that's what I did. I signed up. Yeah. I was there. I was in the game.
You'll figure it out. Yeah, that's awesome. So you're in Peace Corps, you're digging wells, health-wise, like things aren't going right, and you end up getting separated. Like you said, you liked movies. Had you ever done any kind of acting before? Was there experience that you had where you're like, yeah, this is why I want to act, right? Like, yeah, so it was like a brand new thing for you, right?
Brand new. Knew nothing about it other than I felt like I always had to do it, you know?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So talk to me about that, right? Like you said, you felt like you always had to do it. When was the first time that you were thinking like, yeah, I'll be an actor? I don't think everybody has that thought.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't really, and this sounds weird because people say it all the time, and I guess I was kind of on that fence too of like, when you watch a movie and you're so into that movie and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I could do that. And I say that lightly now because I know what it takes to be an actor. It's not that easy, people, you know. But it was at that moment where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go out there and try it. I remember the movie. I was in South Africa and I was watching it in the theater, and I decided right there that when I get back, I'm just gonna try it. I don't know, because I've always had that thing of like, if you never try something, like the pain of regret is a lot worse than any pain that you gotta go through to get to any goal, relatable to any career, any type of goal that anybody's going after. Like the thought of me not even trying acting, I didn't want to be older and say, man, I wish I would have tried. You know, I just didn't want that. So.
Yeah, so you had like this burning desire to try it, and then basically the way I look at it is handed in your victim card. So that way later on in life, you can't say, oh, well, I could have been an actor, but you know, I never had a chance. No, I'm going to hand that victim card in. And I'm going to say like, no, I'm going to go do this. And I'm never going to blame not being happy on the idea that I can try something, which is pretty cool. It's a hard thing to do. Going into the Peace Corps already is a pretty crazy thing. You're done with school, done playing baseball. Maybe you could have gone and played like semi-pro, but you decided to join the Peace Corps instead. What was it that made you go join the Peace Corps as opposed to going to get a job? Like finding a corporate thing, like you're just getting out of college. What made you go, yeah, I'm going to go join the Peace Corps instead of getting a job?
I guess the adventure, absolutely the adventure. I love adventure movies, and I said, you know, how about I just choose my own adventure, and instead of it being a movie, it's the real thing. I'm just gonna sign up and do it, and that whole Indiana Jones type thing. And I felt like I needed to do it. Aside from the fact of there was an underlying current that I never knew until I was older of how much I really love people. Something that I can offer is my sweat equity. Going over there and working and stuff like that was really, really appealing, that I could go and help people. I don't know what kind of magnitude I had because I wasn't there that long enough, but what they did for me, man, it's life-changing.
That's awesome, dude. So, and you mentioned it before, how much you love people, you wanted to help and all those other kinds of things. I feel like for you, going to take a job, and again, not saying that there is anything wrong with going to take one. You know, you weren't married at the time. There wasn't any strict obligations that you had. Did you feel when you came back from the Peace Corps or going to the Peace Corps, you had to get permission from your family, or did you feel like you were letting anybody down? Or what kind of reservations, or like, was there anything that was holding you back from going to do it?
No, not necessarily. My parents have always been really supportive. Maybe didn't understand, but just from a parent side where they didn't want their kid going off to a, foreign country, being under the conditions that he was in Africa and stuff like that. But, when I came back, I still just wanted to do what I wanted to do. I wasn't going to take anybody's, you should do this, or how about this? And I was going to do exactly what I wanted to do. And my mind was made up that I wanted to try acting. Look, and the one thing is I've never really done it. I've damaged other people. I'm always self-conscious. I would never be a deadbeat dad per se. You know what I mean? If I had children and a family, I would have supported them. I would have been that guy. But since I didn't, I was like, you know what? Let's roll on to the next adventure. The world is yours,
I love it. Yeah, so you moved out to LA. You started trying to figure out what to do. You're going to you decided I'll go be an extra in a movie. And so you went to be an extra in a movie, and the next thing you know, you're freaking Tom Cruise. Everybody loved you. That's what happened?
I wish it was like that. If I could just have one of Tom Cruise's movies, No, it was nothing like that. Gone to the first movies.
Exactly, yes. So it wasn't all fun and rainbows, yes. Yeah, talk about some of the hardships that you went through and how you kept yourself going through those hard times.
Yeah, so the first television movie paid acting gig I ever got, I actually did it right before I went to Hollywood, and that's what was the final kickoff. I was on Dawson's Creek. It was filming down in North Carolina where I went to school, and it was filming in Wilmington, and I played a pilot, and I was in a scene with James Van Der Beek and the rest of the Dawson's Creek people. and kind of was really weird because I'd never been on a movie set before, and the movie magic is destroyed, right? You get on set and there's like people moving ladders and talking, and they're setting up the shot, and they got the A and B actor standing in place, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not James Van Der Beek, and that's like, so it's really funny when you get to that point. But then when I got to LA and I kind of knew what a background actor was, once I signed up for an agency, we were spitting. They were calling me all the time, just like I was playing soldiers, cops, people in the crowd. Like I did more crowd scenes, just regular everyday people. But I went to the set with intention. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna learn. Okay, that's the second AD. Okay, that's the painter. He's this, and then you start meeting people, and then as an actor, you get on set with other actors or other aspiring actors. You start talking to them and whatever. And from that point, I signed up. Still to this day, it was my favorite acting class. I signed up for an acting class. I don't know if it was new, but the woman was amazing. It was Bobby Chance Acting School in Sherman Oaks. And dude, it was like the most funnest acting class I've ever seen in my life. We would get there and she'd have the music like on 11, dude, and it was just cranking. She's like, all right, here's your scene. You're working on this with this person. And like you'd go out in the hallway and you'd work on your scene. And then they'd call everybody in and you'd go scene by scene by scene, and everyone would put up their thing. And I learned how to act. And I just learned through doing it. And there was no other way around it. I would go in the morning, I would be on a show, and then once or twice a week I was in this class. I think it was Thursdays was a showcase, and I went like Monday or Tuesday night. You met other actors. Back in that day, you'd have to send your headshot into agents, and if they liked you, they would call you. But they did these things called showcases where they had agents, and then the agents would show up and you put this scene on for them, and then they would talk to you afterwards. I got my first agent that way. And then, I'll never forget, they just call you and they're like, yeah, they want to see you for this show. And then you go and you audition for the show and you're an actor,
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
But to circle back, Kev, to what you were saying is 1% of the world's actors make money, and they make good money. The rest of us are just trying to get there. And I've had a few friends. Most recently, my friend Paul Anthony Kelly is now playing JFK Jr. in Love Story. Hadn't done anything. Done a couple of plays at a local theater, and he looks like JFK, and Ryan Murphy brought him in, and now he's launched. A couple other people, but for the most part, it's been trying to break into the door. Get an audition, continue that. But in order to continue that, you have to still love to do it. That's without a doubt. I still wake up every day. I love doing it. If you don't have that, you might as well just, because you can get another job. I have another job.
Just because you're doing something that you love doesn't mean that there's no struggle, that there's no hardship. There's still plenty of hardship. There's still plenty of heartbreak, right? There's still plenty of those things, even when you're doing the thing that you love. But let me ask you this. What do you think life would be like for you if you came back from Peace Corps, instead of going to Hollywood and starting to act, you decided to take a corporate job someplace?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be one hell of a contributor to the world of doing physical education teacher. My first and always love is going to be sports, and I think the sports and art are always kind of coincide, but I think my life would be just being a PE teacher somewhere, teaching high school, middle school, whatever, being a baseball, football coach, having that stereotypical American life, which I think is awesome. But there also would have been some weird part of me that would have always been, like a lot of people, that they just are really reserved. And the mask of being afraid of certain things will always be there. As an actor, you have to go for it, man. All those things that you are in your mind or your ego or whatever you want to call it, you just can't be afraid to be seen. And I'm not saying that regular people aren't, because there's some people are, but I don't know if I would have been this in touch with who I am if I didn't choose this path.
Now, interestingly, I think the thing that you said that you'd be a PE teacher if you weren't an actor. You came back, you would have been a PE teacher. And I find that pretty interesting in that, you already understood, like maybe you didn't have the words for it per se, you already understood the thing that you love. And that's being with people, helping. And if you're a teacher, like it'd be like coaching a team, but also just being in a team environment where people are coming together to make something that's bigger than any one of them individually. I think that's pretty insightful that you just understand that about yourself. I can tell you, like when I went in the Army, I had no idea what I loved to do. I didn't have a clue. The one thing I loved to do was play football. The first year that I was at, West Point at the prep school, at our very first scrimmage against another team, I blew up my knee, and that was the end of my football career. And I had no idea like what else I loved to do, like nothing. And so, for me, there was like lots of years of struggle because I had no idea. For me to hear like you're like, yeah, like if I wasn't acting, right? Which in the very beginning, you were like, yeah, it's about being with people. It's about helping, and it's about being on a team, right? Like then I would be a PE teacher where I'd be in contact with people all the time, right? I'd still be in that team, still creating that art, and it's awesome, right? It's like for me, it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? It doesn't matter if you're an actor. It doesn't matter if you like to cook, whatever it is. There's some art inside of you that wants to get out. For me, that art is going out and doing adventures. I just love being out there and pushing my body in ways that it's never been pushed before. It doesn't matter if anybody's watching. It doesn't matter any of that stuff. That's my art. And it's cool that your art is like being with people, being in a team, having something that's pushing you in that adventure. It's pretty cool to me that there was something inside you at a pretty young age pushed you into this direction to be an actor. And now 25 years later, you're still excited about doing it, right? Like that is so cool.
And that's kind of like what I was saying before is a lot of times people, they need permission or they're a little hesitant, scared, have a mask up, whatever the case is. Every individual is different, and they all have something that is holding them back from the art that they want to release. Because everybody has that deep down thing. We don't know. You could be so close to somebody and have no idea that they want to be a singer their whole life. They think it's funny if they like sculptures, but they really are good at it. You know what I mean? Or you just never know, or they have a talent. For me as an actor, if it takes 20 years, that's what it takes, man. I don't know how else to do it, to tell someone. It's one of the things I kind of told myself in Africa, like I don't care how long it takes, that there's no timeline on your dream. The sun goes up, and if you wake up the next day, you have an opportunity, and if that's what you want to do. And I know this might sound like self-loathing or conceited or whatever, but I really do believe in myself, and I believe that there's something for me in entertainment. I don't know what that is. Hopefully it's as an actor, and hopefully it comes soon. But if not, I'm just always going to continue doing it because I love doing it, not just to be famous or to be rich or whatever. And maybe when people start to realize that they can go after their goal and their dream just because they love it, hopefully maybe they can be inspired by that.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing because I had no idea what I love to do. And I don't think that I'm alone in that. I think there's lots of people that they haven't really discovered it yet. Like they don't know what they love to do. It's really cool that maybe you didn't have the words for it, but you kind of knew what you loved to do for a long time. And the fact that you get to like live it and do it all the time is amazing. Like it's really refreshing to see somebody who loves their craft as much as you do.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot just to hear it because, most of the days, Kev, there's nobody coming. I try to work on it every single day. I have a weird little internal thing called the 2.5 rule, and I try to work on myself 2.5 hours of the day, every single day as an actor, because my regular job, I work in landscape construction, and it's great. I love the people I work with, but I work 10 hours a day sometimes, most of the days 9 hours. If I could do that, my craft for 9 hours, if a director would hire me to work, that's the goal. But until then, you have to find your time. You have to do it, man. If that's what you want to do, if this is what you love to do. And so you just got to push on through. Nobody's going to do it for you. You know, so whatever that thing is that you want to do, go do it.
Yeah, I almost forgot like one of the coolest parts of your story. Like I'm just getting so sucked into like what you're doing, and I'm so inspired by it. Like the one time where you were talking to some of your friends and you're like, hey, you know what? I love this actor. I love this kind of movie. I'm going to go and do that. Tell us that story.
Yeah, so probably about, I think I was in LA, Hollywood for about 8 years. And so I was talking to my friends, we're having a drink, just sitting around in the afternoon. I grew up a big fan of Kung Fu movies, Jackie Chan. Matter of fact, I was really into Kung Fu in my early days in LA. Like that's all I did. When I got here, I just joined a Kung Fu school and that's all I did every single day. And so I just told my friends, I remember it, and I was like, you know what guys, I'm gonna go work with Jackie Chan. I'm gonna move to China. And they were like, what? You know, like the Rush Hour guy, you know, at that time. And I was like, yeah, I think I can do it. They're like, dude, you're in Hollywood. He'll be here, you know, you can audition, just keep working at it. I was like, nah, I think I need to go to China and have an adventure. And I want to go and be the bad guy in all the Chinese movies. And I'm going to work with Jackie Chan. This was like, I'm going to do it. And they're like, okay, whatever, we'll go back to drinking beers. And they didn't think anything of it. The next day, I talked to my cousin who introduced me to a recruiting service for ESL teachers. And so I called him up and I was like, hey, can I come teach kids English? And they called me back. They're like, yep. And we went through, all the preliminary questioning, interviewing and stuff like that. Once I got to China, I went to every modeling agency, talent agency, whatever I could find. I was in a city called Guangzhou. It's a massive city, oftentimes referred to as Canton, but it's in the south. And I would like knock on modeling agency doors with my black and white headshot and like, hey, here you go, I'm an actor from LA, nice to meet you. And they're like, you don't speak Chinese and you're white. I'm like, it's okay, don't worry, just call me. So I would go back in the day, and I wasn't really like acting at that point. I was just teaching English, and about a few months into it, they called me and they had a boxing movie where they needed a foreigner that was a little bit bigger. Although the guy that I was fighting was a Korean actor, and he was yoked, man. This guy, Steven Yeun, very nice guy. And I got the movie, I got the part, it was like the main bad guy. It was basically the Ivan Drago of this Chinese movie, But once again, from that point, I met other people, I met agents, casting directors. They started calling me for commercials. I was doing like foreign products, things like that. I would do these weird things in China where I would get picked up in a limousine and dropped off at a convention. And then I would wave to people like I was a businessman. and it would show like the Chinese company working with the foreigner. And you hear about it from time to time, and it is real. But then after probably about 3 years of being there, and I probably did about 10 TV shows, a few movies, my friend calls me up, and he was from Czech Republic. His name is Nach. He was like, hey, they're doing a Jackie Chan audition in Shanghai. You want to go? I'm like, absolutely, let's go. We get there, there's 2,000 people in line. Every blue-eyed Russian white person you could imagine, it was like a swords and sandals movie. Anyway, I get to the front, whatever, I audition, I'm reading the paper, I flip it over, kind of reading the script. I had experience before because I was auditioning in LA and, I was doing the acting thing. So I had a little leg up on a lot of actors there that were just there to be in a Jackie Chan film, And so they really liked me, and they brought me back the next day, and lo and behold, without getting too more in depth in the story, I was casted as one of the soldiers that follows around John Cusack and Jackie Chan. So a dream accomplished, I guess. The best part about that whole experience, obviously, I got to meet Jackie. I worked with them for 3 months, traveled all around China. The amount of friends that I've gained from that I still talk to in this business that are successful is unbelievable. All my current friends are from that movie. We all still hang out, and then we got together a little bit after that. We kind of created our own foreign action team So when they hired one of us, they had to hire a few of us from Sweden, from Israel, from Germany, from China, from Georgia, from France, just all of us, these foreigners that met on this job. And it was a blast, man. It was just a dream come true. And I'm a perfect example of, even as crazy as that dream sounded, as crazy and wild as it was for Jackie Chan, if you didn't just go for it or try it, it would have never happened. Yeah, mission accomplished. So,
dude, that's awesome, man. So what was the movie called?
The movie was called Tianjiang Shongshi in Chinese, but in English it's called Dragon Blade.
That's awesome. That is good stuff, man. Yeah, I just wanted you to say it. I actually saw the movie. It was awesome. So what an awesome story, though, dude. I love it. Like, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Tell us a little bit about your 2.5. You got your 2.5 that you do every day, or 2.5, or how did you come up with it? What would your suggestion for, like, maybe somebody else to practice that?
Yeah. Okay. So I knew that I had to continue working as an actor. Like, you got to work when nobody's looking. That's just in any art form. So I knew that I was working 8 to 9 hours a day in a construction job, and I was making somebody else's dream happen. And I said, well, I still have to make myself live. It was kind of that whole principle of, like, don't quit your day job. I know what they mean by that now. It's not because you're awful. It's just because you got to support yourself in LA, you know? So I created this thing to hold me accountable of 2.5 hours a day. I said, listen, this is what I can do without crushing myself. I come home at 5, I eat, you know, whatever. So what it looks like usually is about 45 minutes to an hour of my body, you know, exercise, something physically keep me in good shape as an actor. That's what it is. Then the other half is whatever I'm working on, whether it's a scene in school, an audition, something that I'm working on, filming yourself. Now we've got this unbelievably powerful thing called the internet. And as an actor, if you're not going out there and filming yourself, I don't care what, well, you should try to want to do something good, right? So what I'll do is, if I don't have any material to work on, I will find a monologue or something, and I'll work on that for an hour a day or 45 minutes a day, just running lines, trying it different ways, just seeing, you know, how that works. Part of a great company called the Group Repertory at the Lonnie Chapman Theater. So I can always go there, and that's like my gym. That's like my workout gym. And I'm also a member of LA Acting Studios, where you film on live sets. So you're always practicing lines or scenes and stuff like that. And you want to make sure that you just hit some, at the end of the day, I got 2.5 hours of work. You can call it whatever you want. It's just what I came up with. You know, that I worked on me. I worked on my craft. Because when I do flip this thing, when somebody does say, Danny, I want you in my film, and then I'm going to work as the actor for 8 hours, practicing, rehearsing, body work, breath work, all these types of things, man, it just gets you prepared. Like, you can't just sit on the couch and all of a sudden you get an audition and expect to hop off the couch and be ready. It just keeps you working out, man. It's like, you know, when you go to the gym, you work on your shoulders one day or your chest or your back. I'm working on a monologue, I'm working on a scene, I'm working on this, and that's how I kind of try to relate it to it.
You say that, like, one day you hope that you flip it or whatever, but, you know, I would argue with you, man. I think you flipped it already, you know? Yeah, you might not be Tom Cruise. The fact that you are doing the thing that you love and you continuously do this thing, even the stuff that you're doing on stage, you're like volunteering and doing stuff, the amount of time and passion that you put into what you're doing, I think already you're so far ahead of, like, anywhere where I was. Back when I was working or being in the Army, I put 0 hours a day into what I love. I didn't even, like, take the time to think about what I love. And so, you know, the fact that you're able to put 2.5 hours every day into a craft that you love, and then you still get opportunities to go out and do it. And unlike most people, right, like, that are doing things that they love, like, you can actually get paid for it too. Like, it's awesome. Yeah, man, I don't know. I love it. Thanks for sharing this stuff with us, Danny.
No, I appreciate it, Kev. I really do. You know, it's always a pleasure just to talk to you, as we both grew up in Kenmore, and, you know, never ever forget those days. Allowing me to speak and having some bit of opportunity to inspire somebody. You know, my message is very simple and clear. You know, believe in yourself, work hard, and just don't give up, man. Just keep going at it, just little by little, if it's fragments, and you'll get to whatever it is that's relatable. I just happen to work as an actor, but whatever that may be, you're studying to be a doctor, a lawyer, you know, you're into, like you said, being a chef and cooking, you'll get better, okay? You know, just keep at it, man. That's it. That's all I got.